Hey, good morning, guys. So today I thought I'd chat a little bit about compassion. And sorry, I'm in my yard work clothes because I figured I'd hop on just before I go do some yard work. Gotta trim some bushes today before I go to work. Hi, everybody. Thanks for hopping on. So just to give you a little intro into who I am, my name is Kelsey. I'm a relationship and confidence coach. I'm also a licensed therapist. And there's been a movement happening about body positivity and moving things forward, and one of the things that came up is kind of compassion for self. So a lot of times we don't really have a lot of compassion for ourselves. Hi guys, how are you? Thanks for hopping on. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about compassion towards yourself, but also compassion towards other people. And a lot of times we think about, okay, I need to be nice to other people, I need to have compassion towards others, empathy towards others, and we forget to be compassionate towards ourselves. So today I wanted to talk about really kind of zoning in on ourselves and how to have compassion. But I guess first we really need to kind of figure out what compassion actually is. So the first thing is, what's empathy versus sympathy? And a lot of people struggle with this. I know I struggled with this for a really long time. And the first thing is, sympathy is, oh, I'm so sorry for you, or that sort of thing. And empathy is, wow, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. And there's a helicopter. All right, well, that's interesting. They usually don't do military drills around here. That's cool. All right, something's going on the interstate, obviously. Sorry about that. So anyway, empathy is when you try to understand where the other person is coming from, and you explore what your emotions would be in that moment. So empathy is kind of putting yourself in the other person's shoes and recognizing what's going on for them. It's kind of like understanding versus pity. So it's taking a moment to understand where that person's emotions are and what's going on for them versus just being, oh, I'm so sorry for you. And this comes up a lot with grief, and it's kind of one of the things that I'm talking about because some of my clients are going through some grief situations right now. And, as a coach, it's my job to be empathetic rather than sympathetic. They've probably got plenty of friends, and they've talked to me about this, so I know it's true. They've got plenty of friends who are like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry for your loss. And that doesn't really do shit for someone who's grieving. It's like, yeah, I've heard that 18,000 times today. Thanks, I appreciate it. And it can actually cause some resentment and some anger. So empathy of, wow, I can't imagine what you're going through. Or, I'm here for you if you need me. Those statements have a lot more of an impact, and they show more compassion, they show more understanding for what's going on for the other person. And then there's support versus placating. So, you can be really supportive of people and say, I'm here for you if you need me. And that's really the best way to show compassion. I'm here for you if you need me, or I'm really trying to understand where you're coming from. It must be very difficult for you. And not, I'm sorry for you, not, that must be horrible, stuff like that. Those are sympathy statements, not empathy statements. So how do you show compassion towards yourself? And that's really important in the body positive movement. And the first thing is, do you respect who you are as a person? Do you really recognize the benefits that you give society, the positives that you bring to people? And that can be a really beautiful thing of being compassionate towards yourself. We can take the really obvious examples of, compassionate towards yourself means no self-harm. It means, taking care of your hygiene and things like that. But it also means recognizing and being grateful for who you are as a person, personality-wise as well. There's a lot of cliche statements that talk about recognizing, the inside, beautiful on the inside, doesn't matter what's on the outside, things like that. But if you're compassionate towards yourself, you can really prevent burnout, because if you are constantly putting yourself down, you're kind of forcing your mind to take on these really negative statements, and you're forcing your brain to be programmed towards negative self-statements, negative self-talk. One of the best things that you can do is start reprogramming. So a lot of the people that I watch and people I follow on Periscope. I'm really excited about a lot of the people that are on Periscope right now with mindset and that sort of thing. And Denise Duffel-Thomas has she wears an elastic around her wrist, and every time she says something negative towards herself, she snaps the elastic band and says, shut that shit down, basically. And it's such a great tool, and I've used that before with a lot of my clients and also with myself, because if you watched my scope yesterday, I talked about how even as a confidence coach, I still have those crises of confidence, and I don't really keep present of mind 100% of the time how I feel truly about my body. I'll get stuck in saying, oh no, thanks, but no, to a compliment or something like that. Like, I'll turn a compliment down, and that's so upsetting. When I think back and I reflect on how not only does that make the other person feel, because they tried to pay me a compliment and they, nothing happened, but it also makes me feel really icky about myself, because how could I not take a compliment? So compassion towards yourself is really about opening up and understanding kind of where you're at in terms of your own self-acceptance, and getting to a place where you can accept yourself. So the first step would be, taking care of yourself in terms of setting aside time during the day to focus on you and to think about what you need in order to recharge. And compassion towards yourself is all about recharging. It's all about preventing burnout and getting into these really exciting, self-care activities. I don't care if it's a bubble bath with a bath bomb from Lush. By the way, they're amazing. Or if it's sitting out in the yard, or for me, to be perfectly honest, it's the yard work I'm about to go do, and that might seem really super silly, but I love gardening. That's my thing. Knitting's my thing too. Playing video games is my thing. Going to Comic-Cons is my thing. Any of those things, particularly if I'm doing them with my husband and we're connecting and kind of recharging our relationship, I get like a double whammy, and it's perfect. So think about what you need in order to show compassion towards yourself and to keep yourself recharged, and go from there. And make sure you're setting aside time every day, or at minimum every week, an hour, a couple hours, to recharge and refuel yourself and show compassion towards yourself, just like I know all of you have huge hearts and would show compassion towards others. So wanted to do a little bit of a microscope. Hope you guys enjoy. This is day 5 of my 30-day Periscope challenge. Follow me if you enjoy what's happening. If you're catching me on the replay, thanks for joining in. Once again, my name is Kelsey. I'm a licensed therapist, but I'm also a relationship and confidence coach, and I'd love to connect with you guys more. If you want more info, you can go to Kelsey